At the time I traveled to Mexico, I didn't think I was going to be doing content creation. I didn't think I was going to be doing YouTube. I just traveled to Cancun to go have fun, and every picture, every video you see in this vlog were just casually taken. No plans, no script. We just went with the vibes. But looking back at them right now, I was like, okay, it does deserve a vlog. Welcome to Mexico, Cancun. As soon as we touched down in Mexico, you could instantly tell the difference from the Canadian weather. The warm air hits differently, the sun was shining, and you could already feel the vacation mood kicking in. Cancun, Mexico has always been a place I always wanted to visit. From my own personal experience as a Nigerian passport holder at the time, having a Canadian visa made it visa-free for me. So if you're a Nigerian passport holder without a valid Canadian visa, then you definitely need a visa. I went on this trip with my fiancé and a friend of mine, and we sure did have fun. I think one of the most exciting things about this trip was that we were just so excited to escape the Canadian weather. For the fact that we traveled during the winter period, compared to what the weather was back in Canada, the weather was so warm and humid. After going through immigration, the first thing we did was to change some cash at the airport. Mexico uses the Mexican pesos, and at the time the exchange rate made things relatively affordable. One Canadian dollar roughly converted to multiple pesos, so it definitely feels like you're holding a lot of cash, even though you're really not. If you're traveling to Mexico, ensure that you have enough cash, as there are a lot of activities that you can do that involves money. I'll be putting up the amount for the activities and events that we did. So after changing the money, we stepped outside of the airport and tried grabbing a cab, but wow, the prices were just crazy. So I honestly felt like they were just trying to take advantage of the whole situation because they saw us as tourists. These guys were literally charging over $200 US just for a short ride. This is where I learned something very important. If you're traveling internationally, just get an eSIM before arriving. If I had done this earlier, I would have just booked an Uber from the airport, which would have been way cheaper. But unfortunately, there was no Wi-Fi and there was no data at the airport. So instead, we decided to take a public transport. And this in turn turned out to be a great way to explore the city.
Cancun.
So we made our way to the bus terminal, which is actually very close to the airport, so it was pretty much easy to find.
Soft babies.
There is a direct bus from the Cancun airport to the hotel zone, which is where our Airbnb is located. However, we couldn't get a direct bus, so we had to stop at one of the bus terminal, and we then got another ride to the hotel zone. Now this bus ride cost about 140 pesos, which comes to about $7 US per person for the ride.
Yeah, it's printed on the card already, so it's not negotiable.
Our bus finally arrived and we made our way all the way to the Airbnb. It is highly recommended to book the Ado bus ticket online in advance, as there is no Wi-Fi in the airport, or alternatively, you can also purchase them at the booth inside the terminal arrival of the airport. We found it very hard to communicate with these guys because of language barrier. Spanish is the official language for Mexico, and of course we do understand Spanish, but then again, I think if you have plans of traveling to Mexico, you could learn 1 or 2 Spanish that could just help you. I enjoyed the bus ride to the next station. The bus was pretty much comfortable, just similar to the luxurious buses you have back in Lagos, just like when you're traveling from Lagos to Abuja. So yeah, it was actually a comfy ride. After getting to the Airbnb, we all freshened up and we later stepped out that evening to get something to eat.
So this is day one in Cancun, and we're heading to a restaurant to go have dinner. Meat, all the cheese, sweet girl, and lady mama. And your one and only, you know. Yeah. Yeah. There's hunger, there's hunger in the land. Hunger there. As you can see, the environment is looking very chilled. It's kind of giving VI vibes.
The environment seemed very similar to Lagos. The warm air, the road, the green trees around. It was just giving Lagos vibes. The area where we stayed was like a hotel zone where they had lots of resorts and restaurants where we could easily find the spots to eat.
It's not actually.
We found this cool spot and one of the guys outside saw us and invited us to try their food. And honestly, we were glad we did.
What do you guys want? Once you check, you've gotten in already, so...
Since we're in Mexico, we definitely have to act like the Mexicans. So we decided to order some rounds of mojito, tequila, and tacos. This was the first time I was seeing mojito in a glass jar this big. I have had mojito back in Canada, but this was definitely an experience for me. Usually I don't drink much, but since we were in Mexico and I wasn't driving, I decided to just go all the way. And let me tell you something, that tequila hits really hard.
How you think he get on you? How is supposed to get on you? You know when they said it was too much.
The mojito tastes very good, way better than what it tastes in Canada. I'll definitely give this a solid 9 over 10. You could literally tell that I was getting tipsy as the night went on, but we were just enjoying the vibes, taking pictures and soaking in our first night in Cancun. So in the morning, I did a quick walk around our Airbnb. It's a 2 beautiful bedroom apartments. One of the rooms had 2 beds, which could easily just take about 3 to 4 people, and the rooms were decent sizes. So this is the second bedroom, which serves as the master's bedroom. Now, coming out of the balcony, you're instantly greeted by this incredible view of the ocean, which is surrounded by beautiful palms swaying in the breeze. It was one of those moments where everything just felt so calm and peaceful. At some point, I just sat down outside there for a few minutes, taking it all in and appreciating the beauty of nature and the view before us while the ladies got ready. So we're all prepped up and getting ready to head out for the day. Our itinerary for today is pretty much simple. So we're going to be going to the hotel zone. The hotel zone is a very popular place in Cancun where they have lots of resorts and there are beaches around. So you can easily just visit any of the sites as a tourist. And before we headed out, we decided to take some cool pictures. We grabbed a cab and we headed down to the hotel zone. One thing I've noticed about this place is it has the similar vibes to Lagos. You could literally tell from the type of buses, the road, and the buildings. But trust me, the roads are way better than what it is in some part of Lagos. By the time we got to the beach, I was honestly blown away. I was like, what? The water was crystal clear, the sand was so white, and the ocean had this unreal blue color. Like, this place was just super amazing. Trust me guys when I say that the video does not do justice to this place. Unfortunately, I didn't make enough video because again, I didn't think I was ever going to be making a YouTube vlog, but trust me, it was such an amazing and beautiful place to be. We did hang around the beach for some time, taking good pictures and making good videos. Then we remembered we saw a Cancun sign online where tourists go to actually make videos and take pictures with. So we had to ask around where we could find the sign and they directed us to it. But before we headed down there, we decided to just take some pictures at the beach where we were. And finally, we made it to where the signage was. However, by the time we got there, there was a very long line that we had to join. And you can tell from the video, it was a very long line. People were just waiting to take pictures with the signage. But eventually, yeah, I mean, that was why we were here, to have fun and also to create memories. So we had to join the line. It finally got to our turn and yay, we took pictures with the famous Cancun sign. After walking around, taking pictures and making videos, I was so famished, tired, and I was super hungry. At this point, we had to look for a spot where we could eat. So while we were walking around, we found this restaurant which is called Mr. Pampas, and honestly, this place became my go-to spot. Now, Mr. Pampas is actually very similar to Mandarin in Canada. It's a restaurant where it's all you can eat, but with a Brazilian style twist. So they had this wheel on the table which had an inscription sim, which means yes, and now, which means no. Now what this simply means is that they have these servers that walk around with different kind of proteins, whether it is beef, chicken, ox, you name it. They literally have different types of proteins. Now if the wheel is turned to a sim, then it means that you want protein. So they would always come around to serve you with whatever proteins that they have. And if it's on now, it means no, that means you don't need their service at a time. Because it's a buffet, there are varieties of food on the menu. So if you're a vegetarian, there are different types of veggies you can actually have access to. And if you're someone like me as well who loves meat or beef, there are also varieties of beef that you can have access to. So all you just need to do is you pick up a plate and you just walk around and have access to all that you can eat. And the good part is you can always come back to have as much as you want. As a Niger guy that I am, I made sure that the protein kept on coming, and the good part is that these proteins taste very, very good. Like, they were well done and properly seasoned. It was so different from what we have in Canada. For me, I saw this restaurant as an opportunity to eat as much as I could because other restaurants were really high-end restaurants and were pretty much expensive for a smaller portion of food. But here, the fact that I could eat as much as I want until I'm filled up, it just made it perfect. It made it the perfect spot for me to always come back here. We paid about $28 for each person, which in my own opinion was worth it. I immediately make this place my go-to area to eat because I'm a very picky person when it comes to food. I really don't like experimenting with my stomach, and for the fact that I already had food here and it was really good, I decided to always just come back here anytime I was hungry. So after eating, we decided to still also walk around. The good thing is that around the hotel zone, there are so many beautiful places where you can easily just take pictures, places where you can walk around, places where you can also visit as a tourist. So you don't necessarily even need to have like an itinerary for the day. Once you go out, there are so many activities that you can actually do.
Hi, ladies. Actually, I will not just take multiple. Let's take a speedboat from here.
And next up was one of Cancun's biggest shopping mall, La Isla. This place had literally everything: designer brands, restaurants, views, and even entertainment. From luxury brands to souvenir, La Isla had it all. If you're in Cancun and you're around the hotel zone, La Isla is one of the places I would highly recommend that you visit. This whole place was literally giving a full definition of what luxury looks like. From left to right, there were designer stores around, from Dior to Ferragamo to Balenciaga to YSL. They literally had it all. So if you're in Cancun and you're looking to spend some money, La Isla is the place to be.
Balenciaga. Tiffany.
La Isla was so beautiful. I don't think there's anything you're pretty much looking for in Cancun that you don't get to find here. Be it different designer brands or whatever it is you're actually looking at or looking for, you definitely find them here. After we had walked around, we decided to just have some ice cream. There's a store there called Aldo. So they actually had different varieties of ice cream and it was really, really good. I would rate the ice cream that I had, I would really give it a solid 8 over 10 because it was really nice. I liked it so much. So yeah, if you are in Cancun, I think La Isla is that place that I would really recommend for you to visit. So while we're walking around, we saw this guy that came up to us to talk about a show that happens in the heart of Cancun, and the name of the show is called Cocobongo. It's a world-renowned nightclub where there are different performances by different artists who impersonate different popular artists such as Michael Jackson, Madonna, Spider-Man. There are different performances you get all around throughout the show. So eventually we got a ticket for the show. Each person cost about $110 USD per person. At this point, I was just hoping that the show had better be worth it because having to spend $110 US prices differ as one person. So for instance, if you're going to the show on Monday, you definitely get a lesser price. However, if you're going for the show towards the weekend, maybe a Friday or a Saturday, then it's more expensive. So after walking the whole of Hotel Zone for the day, we went back to our Airbnb and we got ready and headed to Cocobongo. And wow, this place was lit. You would think that it's only in Nigeria that they know how to party, but trust me, this place was really a vibe. It was given Las Vegas. So before we went in, my fiancé and I, we took some pictures outside the corridor. So as you step in, it's an open bar concept, which means that you can have as much drink as you want, so you can always go back to get drinks anytime. We did arrive late as the show had started at the time that we got there. We had performances from Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Michael Jackson, The Mask. The list was just endless. It was such a fun night.
Mexican MJ!
Wow, I didn't think we are gonna have this much fun. Kokobongo actually exceeded our expectation. We had so much fun. The performances by all the artists were really good. If you've heard about the Las Vegas party, Kokobongo also gives that same vibes as well. For the fact that I didn't think we are gonna have this much fun, and Kokobongo exceeded my expectation, I would say this was money well spent. So if you're in Cancun or you plan on visiting Cancun, then I highly suggest that you add Kokobongo to your list. This place was such a vibe. The party didn't end inside Kokobongo. Even on the streets, you still have music playing. On both sides of the road, there are different hotels, different parties going on all at the same time.
I'm not shaking my boobs.
I don't think I've had so much fun like this in a very long time. And if anyone asks me if the money spent for Kokobongo was worth it, I'll definitely say yes. And if I had the opportunity to come back to do this again, I definitely will. It's day 2 in Cancun. Today we plan on visiting one of the flea markets around to get some souvenirs and also to go on a boat ride. So there's a flea market around the hotel zone. It's like the Balugo market in Lagos, very similar. So they have different souvenirs that you can buy, from bags, shoes, whatever it is. But one thing I would say is, as much as possible, they would always want to drag you into their shops to buy stuff. Try as much as possible to beat those prices down, because once they see you as a tourist, they would always want to rip you off. So as much as possible, always try to beat the prices down. So after we were done from the flea market, we headed to La Isla, where we'd be taking our private yacht. But we reached out to the company in charge. However, they said the yacht wasn't ready, so we had to wait for some time. We took the opportunity to still do some shopping around La Isla and also take some pictures as well while we were waiting. And yeah, for sure, we still had to go back to Aldo ice cream because it was so good. We had to get another one again. So finally, we got the call that the yacht was ready and they were bringing it in just a few minutes. And yeah, it did arrive and it was so beautiful. The yacht cost about $300 for 1 hour. It takes you on a ride around the city and it brings you back to the deck. If you have a larger number and you want to go for more hours, this is going to cost you more.
Mommy, you know say you matching my steez. You know I'm a G. Shawty, I'm always keep it real. I know they put too much wine in, they put too much wine in. I see the beat, I see shadow they enter. We are going to follow me. Oh, that's yourself, you know, cause I be. The love is in the air, baby, breathe. Baby, anytime you need me, I be available. Compatible, two of us, they compatible. Girl, I be bad boy for girls, say I the mellow. Baby, I the phone. Baby, take it slow. Baby, go down low. Nobody got to know. Yeah, I know I play around, I'm in on this, so let you go. Baby, mommy. You know, say you matching my steez. You know I'm a G. Shawty, I'm always keep it real. I know they put too much wine on, they put too much wine. Baby, follow, treat you like a mama. I'm real, no, never. You're the one for me.
Okay. Okay. Oh.
So we had such an amazing time on the boat ride, and after we were done, we got back to La Isla and we decided to look for something to eat. Now I just wanted to go back to my Mr. Pampas to eat what I had the previous time because I had a good time there. However, the ladies had something different in mind. They wanted to try something new, and I had no choice than to just follow them. I was like, okay, I'll follow you guys. Now this woman brought me to a restaurant where a plate of pasta cost almost $300 to $400. Like the price list was just so crazy. At this point I was like we had better just go back to Mr. Pampas because there's absolutely no way we'll be spending this large amount of money on a luxury restaurant. And at the end of the day, there is no assurance that we're going to even enjoy the meal. We got in front of the restaurant and we're just laughing because the price list was literally just pasted outside of the restaurant. So just in case you go in and you are not aware.
Even saw Mama put. She said no, you don't want to eat. You want log. See, they said they wanted an Italian restaurant. They don't reach Italian restaurant now. Fear they grip them to enter because it looks so expensive. Oh yeah, people should go and enter. No, we must go. Walk back here. See where we came to eat. Luxury. Luxury of it. See, there's another one behind you. See. See now. Oh, no, sorry. It's even the advert they are showing. Ah, Nicoletta.
So at the end of the day, we decided to go back to the Airbnb to see about poolside and prepare for our trip back to Canada.
How's your experience in Cancun?
Amazing. It's my expectation.
You don't have to be sexual about it. That was amazing.
How did I find someone?
Ah, really? Sweet girl, how's your experience in Cancun?
It was mind blowing.
Oh, really?
Have fun. Explored the different things. Sky pictures. It was really good.
Beaches.
Sad going back to Canada. God. Oh God.
You guys can stay back. I mean, with all this experience, don't you think you want to stay back and just?
Let's go make some money.
Yeah, you can become a resident.
Let's go make some money and return back.
You can work at Coco Bongo. You want to make money? That's where the money is.
No.
Yes, go there. You work in Coco Bongo,
Yeah.
and you can be a.
And tell me about your flight. Are you ready?
No, it wasn't a good experience. Like,
Are you ready?
I didn't enjoy that flight at all.
Is it
That's the
for?
most horrible flight experience I've ever had.
Is it for the choppy ones, the big ones, the fat ones to enter that little?
Okay, from Cancun. Cheers.
It was at this point I found out that it was way cheaper to book an Uber rather than having to use the local taxis to the airport. And I could only do this because I already had access to the Wi-Fi from the Airbnb, which also enabled me to download to the eSIM, so I could book the Uber.
Yeah.
It has come to an end.
It has finally come to an end. Bye bye, Mexico. Was a pleasure.
Welcome to Canada. Why are you shaking your head? No, go back.